Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're diving into the amazing features within PublishDrive that can help you supercharge your book sales. From sales trends to reader demographics, advanced analytics, global distribution worldwide. The marketing tools alone and free initial book upload makes this a tool you'll want to dig into. And there's much, much more. This is April Cox from Self-Publishing Made Simple, and I'm here today with Matthew Sanderson from PublishDrive. Don't miss a moment of this insightful interview as we turn the screen around to demo the tools and answer questions to help you make the most of this valuable tool. Let's jump right in. Hello, Matthew.
I'm in a national park in Yorkshire, so sometimes it can be spotty, the internet, especially at this very peak time, 7 o'clock. With running this demo account, it might slow down, but let's see. PublishDrive has three main areas. There is the area which is the most outstanding and where the affiliate program is and where most people come to us is the distribution. We are increasingly working on making that a more all-encompassing package with the other areas. The other areas are found up here in the apps, particularly Abacus, which is super useful for KDP. It splits the royalty for people who have those reports. If you're in KU, Audible, ACX, you can drop the reports into there and it will calculate the royalty split if you, for example, have an anthology or you are owing X amount to an illustrator. It will calculate that and tell you everything from all of the data collected. And it can do Ingram Spark reports as well. There is a very similar function in the distribution, but it has one extra powerful tool, which I'll describe when we get there. The other area, which is very exciting, is this publishing assistant. This is an AI tool. At the minute, it does two main things. If you upload your manuscript, the first thing it will do is generate metadata for you. And it will generate that metadata based on the information that it's reading in the text, but also information that it knows about what's trending on Amazon. So if you know of Publisher Rocket and these kind of tools which are used to find categories, basically reads the same information, but you don't have to refresh and update the tool because it's pulling that information from Amazon as well, and will recommend where your book should go for an on-trend category. It will also do blurbs, and it will even do titles if that's something that you want. One of the things that we found quite surprising is we expected people to want it for categories and stuff like this.
Right.
But they started using it quite a lot for blurbs and titles, because I think that's where a lot of people get a bit confused about how to sell the book through the title, and they end up picking some sort of random obscure title and then wondering why it hasn't sold anything. It's not being different that sells, it's being recognizable and being similar to other things. That's something that I think the publishing assistant does very well, is to pick up on what's trending and selling. The other thing it does is generate an AI cover for an ebook, and that's obviously pretty cool. And it will also base that on what's trending on Amazon. So it will read similar covers from what's currently best-selling and produce a cover for you based on that and your own text. Lots of things on the table in the development world in PublishDrive, but we hope in the near future that it will be able to convert into audiobook as well. Essentially, you turn up with an ebook, publish that for free with us for 0% commission take. And then once you optimize the metadata, get yourself a brand new cover, get yourself an audiobook, and you're zooming ahead. So this is the distribution section here, which is the main bit.
I'm trying to figure out how PublishDrive fits into the strategy. I would still have my authors publish on KDP and Ingram would that be right? Or would PublishDrive replace those, and will it still distribute to all of those places?
This is the bit that's coming. The main tool is the distribution, and the best way to think about that is it is a direct competitor to Draft2Digital and Ingram Spark and publishing into KDP. That's basically the main gist of where most of the company's clients come from. We have these additional tools to help people who are not ready to go wide. As I said, the best way to think about it is a direct competitor to those companies. The main differences outright, before we even get into demo, I'll tell you the main differences, honestly, which is Draft2Digital and Ingram Spark obviously take a percentage. Ingram are taking, I think, 30%, which is bonkers, to be honest. Draft2Digital take 10%. We have a little calculator up here. So you can send people directly to this calculator, and it will honestly tell them where they're better off between PublishDrive, Ingram Spark, and draft to digital. We want to be honest and transparent with people. Somebody comes to me and says, I've got one book. What do? I go publish with us for free because we won't take any commission at all, and we never will. So there's one thing to start with. But if they come to me and they say, I've got 3 books and I've written it in a series and I don't have a cover and I don't really know what I'm doing, I'd send them to the AI generator. If you have a best-selling series, or if you're going to make money, if you are treating it like a business, this distribution subscription model makes sense financially. And to be honest, that's why we introduced it. It was very simple for us. How can we outcompete those guys? Because we go to all of the same stores and then some more stores, which I'll also explain in a bit. Because how can we outcompete them? If we do the subscription model, it's essentially, for most publishers and most successful authors, it's about the same as giving us somewhere between 2 to 5% commission equivalent. But it has turned more complicated to market sell than we anticipated, to be fully honest, because the industry people are so used to where's the percentage, where's the cut, who's going to take something from me. And I've had big name publishers on these calls, and I'm saying to them, we're not taking anything else. And they're going, okay, so Amazon take 30%, and then you take what afterwards? And I'm like, we don't take anything. That's really the key here. So if you're selling, much better option. But if you're a hobbyist and it's not a business, you just want to get your book out there, you just want people to be able to read it, there are other options out there. It's very simple to upload.
Is it for ebooks and print books as well?
Ebook, print, and audio.
Wow.
On demand. So it is acting slower than usual, which I apologize for. It's just the national park internet. So yeah, we can do ebook, paperback, hardcover is coming, but it's not quite with us yet, and audio, and we can do bulk upload as well. So you can upload a couple of thousand at a time if you need to. It's very simple to upload. Drag and drop the content file, drag and drop the cover image, bit of metadata. We can generate this for you if you need us to.
Most of my people are children's book authors, so they can't do KDP hardcovers, so we always have to go to English. This would be an alternative along with Book Vault.
Yeah.
So we're trying to understand the difference in pricing to get a hardcover book printed. Most of the time it's 36 pages, 8.5 by 8.5. Was there a way to figure out what that would be, and what's the royalties coming back for that?
Yeah, there is work, but as I said, at the minute we can't do hardcover. We will introduce it in the near future. It's probably a Q2 thing. It's not really on us. I can't say too much, but it's more about the integration with the stores and things like this. It's not technically that hard to do. It's just about negotiating those things, because we do use Ingram as a print distributor. I will be honest, it's probably going to be exactly the same as on Ingram Spark.
I see.
The difference is that Ingram Spark will take an extra 30% commission when they sell it. So that's going to be the difference. But printing costs for paperbacks that we currently do are exactly the same as Ingram Spark. Yeah. So that's basically the difference there. So yeah, then once you're down here, you click distribution, and then you can enable which stores you like. Then you publish. It's very simple. As soon as you've clicked publish, it goes out to the stores. There is an automatic check that our robots do before it goes, just to prevent it being rejected by the stores. So it checks the cover, it checks to make sure if it's an audiobook, it checks that the files are, not too loud or something like this. And then it goes to the stores. Stores can take anywhere between a day, an hour, or 2 to 3 weeks. It depends on what they are. And we have a lot of stores.
Is it all or nothing? Ingram is Amazon, and say, I'm going to go directly to Amazon, but I'll do PublishDrive for all the rest.
Yeah, you can do whatever you like. And a lot of people do that as well. A lot of people come to us who maybe have entered into an exclusive agreement in America, but they have European rights to do whatever they like. So they come to us and turn on European stores. We have all of the main stores that you'd expect. We have all the same stores at Ingram, and we access the Ingram network for print. In terms of comparison to Draft to Digital, it's the same stores. And then there's loads that you've never heard of, because we work with a lot of Central Eastern European companies. We work with stores in India and Singapore. So there is a lot more out there, and we're quite Eastern focused in that sense as well.
I did see you had something that showed that you could upload a document and create the EPUB out of it. How well does
Yes,
it work?
the ebook converter is just another one of the tools up here as well. You can just drop a docx in as well, and it will convert it.
Do you know how well that works?
It always converts it. This is the honest, transparent answer. It always converts it into an EPUB, but sometimes there might be one or two stores that prefer free or something. But I would recommend just trying it out because it's free. The conversion is completely free. It always will be, always has been.
On Apple and Google Books, those are the two biggies, right?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, it will have to be in a docx or PDF, but then it will convert it into an EPUB. And we work with Google and Apple, so those files work there. Sometimes, as with any technology, there might be a mistake, but by and large, it always works. You can save it as a draft, or it might be under review. If there's something to be corrected, you can see here that will let you know, correct X issue, and then published. And then you can see the stores that's on offer in here as well. So that's it. Once it's done that, it's out to the stores. We then have a couple of tools here as well. There's no extra fees at any point. This is the thing. So you can use these. There's Amazon advertising here. You obviously have to pay for the adverts, but PublishDrive is not taking those fees. Price promotions, so you can discount your title for a certain time period. You can send a copy out for review. And then these two here I think are the most interesting. The first one is sales events. Any event that's going on in a store, for example, a non-fiction sale on Apple Books, you can apply for that. And if you get into it, you'll get featured in the store. You go in a newsletter for them, whatever it may be. So that's super useful for people. We have somebody whose job it is to manage this as well. So they will email the customers and be like, hey, we think your book would be perfect for this. So let's get on it. Then we have this featuring as well here, which is we work with written word media. You can access their mailing lists here. You can just apply, and if you're accepted, most people get accepted. If you get accepted, then you're on one of their mailing lists. That can be incredibly useful. It goes out to tens of thousands of people.
Just going through and doing their promotions separately, but we can organize it all through here.
So there's two options with written word media here. The first option is you pay to be guaranteed. You can do that through PublishDrive as well. The second option is that you can apply for free. And if they consider that book to be decent enough and of high quality, you can get in for. So we also have the same with the stores here as well. So you can see that there's a romance thing going on in Apple Books. You select that, you can apply to be featured. Sometimes they can say no, but providing that there's a decent enough quality to the book, you can find yourself being featured. You can manage your imprint as well, so it doesn't have to go out as published by PublishDrive. You can change it to whatever name you want to. And then this is the stores. These are all the stores that are turned on, all the different regions, all the percentages that they will take. There's a lot, as you can see.
I am a publisher. I have my own books, but I also help authors to publish their books. And I usually set up their accounts and work through things that way. But I find that many of them are just so tech challenged, and I keep hearing, if you could just do it, could you set things up? Could you do it for me? I'm wondering, does it make sense for me to consider just adding their books to the PublishDrive under my account and helping to manage their marketing efforts?
Would make sense, especially if you have your own imprint. If it's coming out for your publishing name, it looks nice. You can give them a login as well. They will be able to see other people's books and what's happening. I'll show you a couple of cool tricks with this. We have sales analytics. You can obviously choose lots of different options here, but you can do it for specific books as well. So you could pull someone's report for the exact book and show them the predicted sales from various places. This is the estimated earnings, for example, what we expect people to be given at the end of the month.
This is based on sales that have come in but haven't been paid for.
Yes, basically. Best-selling titles, best-selling series, and then there's also this. It might struggle to load because of the internet, but it does look cool, I promise. There's a location map here, which is a map of the Earth, and it shows you where you're trending and what's happening here. Royalty payments come in once a month. It's very simple. You can take that, download the reports. There's a printing cost calculator, print on demand template generator as well down here, which is to help convert into a POD file. Here's something which I think could be super useful for you, which is this team royalties. So
Yep.
this can be included.
If this was a publishing agreement where I was doing their marketing and there was a split for royalties, we could.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So that's quite a useful tool. I would say that for somebody in your position, this royalty splitting tool, the analytics as well, so you can send them a PDF of what's happening, is useful. But the advantage of you having one account really is the more books you have on PublishDrive, the cheaper it is per title. At the minute, we're 30% off. So let's say the first 3 books are $11 a month flat fee or something like this, roughly 3 point something recurring per month per book. But by the time you are up to 1,000 books, you are down to $1 a title per month. So when you're at that kind of level, you make 1 or 2 sales and you're already making your money back per title.
So it's a good investment. Can I ask you a couple of questions about the paperbacks?
Sure.
You do print books. One of the things I ran into with one of my clients who was using PublishDrive instead of Amazon, normally I'd be going into Amazon and running ads through my KDP dashboard. We weren't able to get to her ads, but I saw you show me that there was a way that you can run ads through here. Perhaps we didn't realize that we could do that.
Yeah, I'll be honest, it's remarkable how many people don't know all the features that we have, and we're working really hard to inform people of that, because I'm aware, especially these days, you get a lot of email stuff. People are not necessarily tech savvy, and this is a very techy product here. So that it does a lot of different things, and there's a lot of technical elements to it. It's very simple to create a campaign, and you can manage it all from here. You can download the reports, you can see the clicks.
I would manage the ad campaign through PublishDrive. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's just a console. It's plugged in. It's the same as if you went to Amazon, basically.
Okay, so you still have access to everything through there. Could you how that works?
To be honest, I'm not 100% familiar with it, because that is just something we don't take anything on. So you just add a budget yourself.
Because when it said create an ad, I thought there was a fee to create an ad. No, $69 to create an ad. I thought it's like an upsell to pay for the permission to create the ad.
So this is a demo account, basically. So it's created.
Okay.
This somebody in the development team found a funny number to put on there. So that's just showing the spend versus the sales. It's just false numbers. It's not a real account. But you can add as much or as little as you like, or nothing. It's surprising how many people will not do Amazon advertising because they don't want to spend anything, which I understand that psychology.
I run Amazon ads courses to help people and work groups, and I do a lot on my YouTube channel about Amazon ads. So I'm actually looking forward to digging into this, and I hate Amazon's interface. If this is going to help me manage those things better, that would be a great opportunity as well.
That's really cool. Yeah, everything's in the same place. That's the one sort of outstanding thing that we started with as well, is how can we make sure that everything is in the same place for everybody. We always say 1 or 2 clicks, that's it. If you're in PublishDrive for maybe 10 minutes a month and you're making money, we're doing our job. If you're popping in to collect your royalty report and apply for a few promotions, that's great, you know.
Yeah, I love the idea that you've got all of these promotions available and that you curate that list for people. I think that's really helpful. What are some of the other features that you think authors should know about and should be aware of that maybe not common knowledge?
To be honest, I've pretty much gone through everything, but it is the sales events and the featuring that I would always push people to, because you have nothing to lose. They're free. They're included in your cost. But it's always the one that I think it can be psychologically interesting for people to have to deal with when we tell them, hey, Apple are doing a sale on romance. If you reduce your price, they will put that on the front of the Apple Books app. And somebody goes, but I don't want to sell it that cheaply because people will think it's not very good. And you go, well, it doesn't quite work like that. I'm sure you've had some conversations like this, and you just sort of lose people. Like, well, I want to sell it for $15 because people will know it's a quality book. And you're like,
can we just talk a little bit about the review copies? This is specifically with ebooks, or are we able to do review copies for print books as well?
This is a very good question. It is just ebooks as far as I'm aware, but I know that we were working on some other things. You can order print copies to yourself if you want. I don't know if it's going to be connected in some way with sending a review copy.
Copies. Based on your knowledge of how authors are using this, what are some of the confusions or maybe complaints, things that you're working on that you receive from authors? What are the places that still need work that we should be aware of?
Where we will spend quarter once. We just had a sort of team meeting last week, and we had this big discussion of, okay, so do we build fancy new things all the time? Do we prioritize this audiobook, or perhaps we do something else? And what we came to is, let's make sure that everything is working immaculately and perfect. There are, I think, it's the same issues with any aggregator, which is essentially basically down to the relationship with the stores. Some stores have different types of tech to others. I don't want to name too many names because we have great relationships with all our stores and we try to maintain them. But certainly, for example, Apple is great and will give us very up-to-date information. The sales analytics will be right on, and you apply for a sale and they won't lose the connection in any way. There could be some better alignment for sales reporting. The sales money will come through. It could be a nice surprise for people. But at the beginning, especially if it's an audiobook, you're only going to get paid once every 3 months with some stores or with some libraries. So people start panic and then they cancel their subscription because the store is not reporting it. And then we're messaging them going, hey, we have like $100 of your royalties. And then they never open another email from PublishDrive again because they've decided that they didn't make any money. And we're trying to get in touch with them and be like, hey, you have it here. So I think I would say the pitfalls of any aggregation system and the industry generally is not all stores are equal. People often come with a very specific expectation of, I'm going to publish something and loads of people are going to get that book instantly. So we get people, they hit publish and then they'll send us an email saying, my friend's just gone on Amazon and they can't find my book. And they'll look like published 30 minutes ago. So it's about managing those expectations. This is something that we're working on as well to help people with more and more videos on YouTube, more and more webinars, blogs, and things like this to help center. We're constantly updating where we're growing the team in that support area to make sure that somebody can constantly talk to you if you need to.
Amazing, because when you can't get somebody that knows what they're doing at Amazon or Ingram, it takes forever. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I just spent 4 hours back and forth with Seller Central and I haven't been able to get them to understand what I'm asking for. They're answering the wrong question, or they just don't understand where I'm coming from, or they tell me you got to go speak to a different department, and then that department sends me to a third one, and then that one sends me back to the first one, and it's just nuts.
Yeah, we have a really good member of our team. We have those areas connected on purpose. So we have the person who manages the store relationships also manages the support team and the customer success team. She does a very good job of it because you're just emailing these people and they're not necessarily messaging back and they're not letting you know. And at the same time, we have annoyed customers who go, I know that my friend bought my book, but it didn't appear in the sales analytics straight away. And that might be because whichever store it is didn't tell our sales analytics for 24 hours. I would say this is where the pitfalls and the issues can be, is that sort of managing the expectations generally. For example, we don't take any public domain books. It's just something that helps us maintain a better relationship because the stores will reject them.
Right.
And you'll tell people, sorry, we can't accept this book. And then they'll go, I can upload it on Amazon directly. And we go, yeah, you probably can. But if we give Amazon 1 million public domain books, they're probably going to go, that's not great. It's not a great business relationship for us. The industry is so overwhelming and fast in the way that it moves and changes. Every day we're speaking to each other on Slack as a team all over the world going, oh my gosh, we've just noticed that this store is doing this kind of thing. And this is why it helps to have somebody whose job it is to do sales promotions, somebody whose job it is to help with customer success webinars.
What is your team, Matthew?
We're about 35 to 40 people. So we're startup-ish, medium. We've been around and pushing 10 years, so it's not really a startup anymore, but it's different in that sense.
A lot of people, when I talk to them about PublishDrive, will say, what's the difference between PublishDrive and Draft to Digital, or what's the difference between PublishDrive and Ingram Spark? Could you comment on the
Yeah.
comparison and compare and contrast those?
I always say it's three main areas. The stores, we have a bit of a wider reach. Now, this can fluctuate, and I haven't checked Draft Digital or Ingram Spark for a while, so I'm talking vaguely here. We have a lot of libraries, we have a lot of areas that people can get to that are in China. And for example, we have one of our print channels based in India that also services parts of Southeast Asia and East Africa. So there's a bit of a niche there. I would confidently say that our support team and our support levels are more responsive, faster to respond. There are always going to be people who are unhappy with support. You're always going to get a situation once or twice a week that can't be resolved. The marketing side of me would say we've never taken down our Google reviews. You can Google PublishDrive and you see, I think it's 4.5 stars. You can't do the same for some other companies because they've chosen to remove their Google profile. That's part of the thing that we want to be transparent. For example, on Trustpilot as well. Our Trustpilot reviews, we got one or two that were false and negative, which are probably some bad actors from another company. But we're 3.8, which is not perfect, but we're keeping that there because it shows us. So we can see that since we made these changes in the way that we handle tech problems in the last 6 months and moved towards this customer success mindset, being more customer facing, more email, video call facing, the review is 5 stars. That's good for us. Whereas if you check other companies, you'll see significantly lower ratings, with a lot of people saying that they weren't allowed to publish because they're from certain countries, or that there was issues with their book being stolen and things like this, and there's still royalties been taken and they're not getting them and this kind of stuff. So that's
A number of my authors say that they're not able to do anything with Ingram because of the country that they're from or something. They can't upload. So you don't have any type of restrictions depending on where somebody is coming from.
we're very happy to have them. We have these NPS scores in the tech world. How likely are you to recommend this? Any comments? Every week we sit in a management meeting and we go through these so that we're constantly keeping an eye on what the customer feel is, because we're thinking in that sense. I think that's one of the reasons why our support team is doing so well compared to the others. Our business model doesn't work if people aren't happy with us because they'll just cancel a subscription.
Right.
Whereas if you're a company that is taking 10% of every book, then you can put that book online. As long as it sells, you're making money, they're making a bit of money, and you can ignore them.
Right.
Because unless they pull that book down, you can go, okay, we'll get back to them in 2 weeks' time. They only have something to gain, and we can gain money in the meantime, whereas we have something to lose.
My next question is really about the print side. You
Yeah.
use the Ingram Spark printing, is that correct?
The quality might be better because we don't use Ingram Spark, we use Ingram Lightning Source, which is, if you're a publisher, that's what you get basically.
When we go through Ingram Spark, we have the choice between standard, premium, ultra premium. Do you have those same kind of things on the Lightning Source side?
I'll show you here how it works. It's more direct. You don't get all those different options in that sense. I'm not sure which one it is, to be honest.
Yeah,
I know in Ingram Spark you get these different options. I'm not
Right.
sure if in Lightning Source it's automatically the ultra premium or whatever. But I do know that we don't get any complaints about that. Ingram are great with the quality of these things. It would be nice if things could be faster sometimes, but that's everybody's aim, if we can get things out immediately.
Right.
These are the 4 different print-on-demand channels. So you just upload one book and then you're on Amazon, you're on China Print and Repro India. China Print takes a while to get to because you have to get through the state censorship.
It would be interesting to see what the price is to print a book through these and compare and contrast. I'll play around and get a little more information. I'm assuming it's 70-pound paper because that's what all the standard and premium options are. One of the biggest complaints I have with Ingram Spark is that the paper is very flat. It's uncoated. It's not like, it has no sheen to it. So if you look at the difference between a KDP version, nice and shiny, how does this compare and whether going through Lightning Source is different.
It's a question that the person who handles the store connections will be able to answer for me.
I've got my new book, A Little Labradoodle Christmas, and this just came in from Ingram. I just got one in from Ingram, and I was looking at it and thinking, oh, this is so terrible. This is the paperback from Ingram. Let me just find, I'll compare and contrast the two. This is a hard offset print version. So here you can see the difference between the two, how muted the colors are and how flat.
A very big difference.
Very big.
A webcam like this, it looks entirely different.
Totally different.
Not
And
enough
that's
depth.
the thing, when we're dealing with Ingram Spark, this is what we have to deal with, a very flat paper. It has no sheen to it, so colors don't pop. That's one of the areas where a lot of people have been complaining, and my authors, we don't have another option as a children's book authors for where we can print hard covers that would be better quality. Although I am going to be testing some others just to see whether or not that could be a better option. But yeah, people are ready to say goodbye to Ingram because of print quality issues.
It's interesting, very interesting. I will ask my colleague about this. Ultimately, the main difference between us and them is that we are not taking any commission. That's the main thing. Some people presume that we're more publisher focused because of that. The reality is that we're more business focused. We have lots of high profile authors with us who will just publish 10 to 18 books.
I think this has been really helpful. And would you be okay with me sharing some of this with my team and with the authors that I work with?
Absolutely. And I can send you a little recorded demo on YouTube as well. We have these little segments, which is cool for people to find out things.
Thank you for your time.
Just let me know any questions. And if you need to speak to someone super techie, we can have a call that way and get you in. And our growth manager, Stephen, he's fantastic. Business conversations and stuff like that. And the dynamics of everybody's got their little niche area. We also have a sale on at the minute. I would always recommend you can sign up for free, you can play around for free, you can publish one book for free. So you've got nothing to lose in that sense. If you've got a spare ebook lying around, feel free to play out the system. Let me know when you've signed up so I can keep an eye on the account. Extra help. I appreciate that. Bye-bye.